And we're back, SUNYIT, and we have a special guest. He is the president of SUNYIT, Dr. Geer, and let's welcome him to the studio. Absolutely.
Thank you for coming. Wow.
Yeah, great honor. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself personally?
So I started here at SUNYIT on August 1st, a little less snow than there is now. I was a professor and vice president for academic affairs at the College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering in Albany.
Oh, right.
So this opportunity became available and was something I was interested in. So I put my hat in the ring and I came here.
Wow.
That's
really
cool.
interesting, yeah.
I hear that you teach a class here at SUNY.
I am. In fact,
what is that?
I just finished it. It's Physics 202, so it's electricity and magnetism.
Okay.
It's a riveting class. You know, it's very topical, very exciting. Sometimes I have to calm the students down, but it's been a great experience. The students have been wonderful.
That's good.
That's really great. So we actually have a couple questions about the new building Quad C.
Shoot.
What does this mean for the SUNYIT students here?
I think I've seen these facilities go up. I've participated in not so much in the construction, but utilizing the facilities, helping build programs in facilities just like the Quad C in Albany at the College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering. And more importantly, finding the best pathways for students to interact. And it's worked very, very well. And not just the students at CNSC in Albany, but students from other institutions, especially community colleges coming in. So I think this will mean a tremendous amount for the students here at SUNYIT. I think it's already started to happen. We've had 2 or 3 of our students have been interns with the company constructing the building.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
2 of those 3 have been hired.
That's
After they finish their degree.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's really nice.
It's a great opportunity. And so as we move from constructing the facility, in fact the steel was just finished last week. The rest of the building is coming together, and by December of this year, of 2014, it will be certified for occupancy. And even before that, I would say October, November, they will start moving equipment into the building. At least that's
really
the plan.
cool.
Yeah.
So very soon, there'll be opportunities for students to participate. Some of them will be interns with these companies. And that's one of the reasons they come here. They want to have their labor force right here. Others will be training types of training or experiential types of programs. And we have a broad array of these in Albany that we developed. Now, it does take some time. You know, the building has to be outfitted. You have to have tools in there. They have to get the operating teams in. But once that's done, it's a great experience for students to go in. So, and likewise, I expect students to be able to interface with some of these companies using facilities on campus. So it will have an impact beyond just the building itself.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That is cool. I'm excited to see it actually come up and be a part of it.
Yeah,
really.
I've seen the layout of it actually online for the computer, how they show the inside and everything. It's really, really big.
It'll be a great building, and what we want to make sure people understand, especially students, is it's built on partnership. So it's a partnership between the state of New York, obviously SUNYIT, the College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering, and the companies that come. But it's an open facility. Now, you just can't walk into the clean room, right? People would get upset, kind of get everything dirty. But walk in those doors anytime you want. What is important about this is that it's going to be a resource for not only the students here, of course, that they get first dibs, but also people in the community. So the same time we'll be doing programs in there for not only SUNYIT students, but K through 12. And one of the challenges is getting students to come in and stay interested in technology. Many times they just don't understand exactly what that technology can lead to. They don't understand the impact it can have, whether it's a new biomedical application, a new way of communicating. And once those students, especially in maybe the elementary school, middle school, once they understand what those applications are, what the impact can be, and they start to see it as something that doesn't take 10 years of education to be able to participate in, they get more excited about it. And they see it as more of a pathway that they could attain. So we also want to use that facility for that too. It really is a resource for the region.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So you see it having an increase with enrollment? I hope so, but is that the...
I think so. I think there, from a couple vantage points. One, it becomes another avenue for students to grow and develop as they're here. And I think that's going to appeal to some students. So when they come and visit and they get a sense of what the campus is about, they're going to see, oh, there's something very interesting about this. Not only do they have what universities and colleges have, the student center and residence halls and classroom buildings and so forth, but they also have this incredible laboratory where companies are actually on the campus. And they see opportunities for themselves there. So that's another way to keep students interested. Likewise, I think what also helps is it raises the profile of SUNY IT as one of the few campuses across the country that have these types of facilities. And that just gets it noticed. And once students notice it, then they put it on their list of schools to check out. You know, some of those students are going to say, yeah, this is a great place for me to go.
Yep.
So all of those things are going to happen. At least that's the hope.
Yeah, that's really cool.
With Quad C, what do the 4 C's stand for?
Great. It's the Computer Chip Commercialization Center. So 4 C's. And it's a bunch of scientists, right? We're not good with names, so we picked this. So, there are a large number of these facilities, for example, I mentioned in Albany. And in there, they're focused on sort of the chip itself, the computer chip, among other things. But a lot of the facilities focus on the computer chip. Now, when you build a computer chip, since everyone has at least 1 or 2 on them at any given time, between your smartphone and whatever else you may have, Google Glass, what the focus, for example, in a place like Albany, is building the circuits on this giant silicon wafer. And the silicon wafers right now are about 12 inches across. And they're very flat. They're like a pie plate. They're a single crystal piece of silicon. And you do is you build the sort of circuit on top of it. First you make the transistors in the silicon, then you wire them up. When you take a blank silicon wafer, you put it in what's called a fab, or a fabrication facility, it may take 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months to actually fabricate all the different levels and form all those devices. Then once you have this giant pie plate, literally you send it out, you protect it, and you cut it with a saw. And like a checkerboard, you cut it in little squares. Those little squares are packaged and put into a computer. Okay, that's what you do. The Center for Computer Chip Commercialization, or Quad C here, is focused on those last steps, taking those innovative new chips that they build on a wafer and actually putting them into a system like a phone. Okay? So what you have to do is you have to take these chips and stack them in a very precise way, in new types of ways, so that you can increase the communication between them. That's where the bottleneck is right now. None, in any computer you use, laptop, tablet, desktop, that chip is not run as fast as it could be. The reason it's not is because it's impossible, or very difficult to get all the information on and off that it can process. And sometimes it gets too hot. So what the technology that's going to happen in Quad C is finding better ways to get that extra connectivity to the chip. So you can use all the horsepower on the chip and also to mate different times, to stack different types of chip. Because what do you have in your cell phone? You certainly have a processor chip. You have a brain, right? You have memory. You pay for that.
Yeah.
You also have sensors. Right? So when you play a game on an iPhone, it knows what direction it's pointing. Okay. It has various, optical sensors to do adjust light, and it has acoustic sensors, so it can better filter out interference, so you can hear someone on the other end. So those have to be those have to be interfaced directly with the chip, because they're starting to process a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then you have a communication chip, right? It's a radio, right? That's what you buy it for.
Yeah.
So all of those pieces have to be packaged in a smaller and smaller area, use less and less power, but do more and more things. That's really a challenge, not for how you make the chip. Well, it is a challenge for how you make the chip. It's a huge challenge for how you put it together, because everyone wants it to go together very small, use less power, take less space. So that's the challenges that the people in Quad C will be focusing on.
That's really cool.
It is.
That is really
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't really know half of that either, actually, with all the tablets and everything. It
And it overlaps with what SUNY IT does. It overlaps with a lot of the standard challenges, for example, in engineering, mechanical, electrical. It certainly drives the business world because, think about it. If we didn't have mobile apps, there would be no such thing as Twitter.
Yep.
And all of these pieces, they're not planned, but they come together. And it's also moving into medical technology. So sensors are cheap. And so when you have someone in a hospital room, there's no reason they have to be necessarily tied down to a hospital bed. You can simply stick a sensor, just like with a piece of double-stick tape. If that sensor is self-powered, if it can communicate, if it can analyze, it can provide real-time medical information on that patient. So if you want to be able to monitor someone, monitor someone's blood sugar level. Suppose they have diabetes, but they don't want to really inject themselves or go someplace for a test. In principle, if you had a device that could do the test, analyze the data, and communicate the data, they could be anywhere. In fact, there's it's not approved yet. It's a fantastic little device. It's essentially a contact lens with a small integrated circuit imprinted on it, on the very edge where your iris is. And that can actually determine blood sugar content from your tears. And so there's no more jabbing a needle into your finger. And it communicates that. So, you know right away. You have a little monitor like a pager, and it may go off and say, uh-oh, my blood sugar's dipping. It's these types of things where that really deal with a lot of this conventional health science issues, nursing issues, business. It's all wrapped together. And so it really complements so many of the programs we have here at SUNY IT.
That's
really
unbelievable.
Cool. The
Yeah.
way how it ties everything together.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a good thing as freshmen we came here just in time.
We get
There you go.
we get a good glimpse at it all. We have some kind of fun questions for you. Just kind of break it up a little bit. 5 facts about Dr. Geer is what it's called. 5 fun facts.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any fun facts. So first of all, I'm a physicist, so that might tell you right off the bat that there are no fun facts. Okay, so I don't know about that. I don't know if it's fun. I have 4 kids, which is very exciting, and the youngest 2 are twins. They're 9 years old now. I don't remember the first 2 years of their lives because they didn't sleep. So it's just dark and cold, and I just, it's really fuzzy. So, they're wonderful kids. So other than that, I've just been a physicist and a professor. There have been a couple of very interesting things that have happened to me since coming to SUNY IT.
What's that?
So one of the first days, in fact, it was freshman orientation and weekend. And, I came to say hi to the freshmen. I had been here for like 3 weeks. And so, and I was walking back across one of the pedestrian bridges from Adirondack. And I heard this, I was on my phone, I'm sure. I heard the sound behind me. Someone was coming on a skateboard. Okay, so, I stepped over to my right near the handrail to get out of the way. Unfortunately, I think that's where the person was trying to go. So we hear this expletive, and then shipping around, and the student took a little bit of a tumble, and it was one of the new freshmen. I said, I'm sorry, you're okay. And he goes, no, I'm okay. So fast forward about, 2 or 3 weeks. I'd come back from the fitness center, which I was using, and I must have dropped my ID. And I hear this knock on the door, and it was that student with my ID, because he knew I was staying in Adirondack Hall. It's like, what are the odds? So I'm really glad he didn't hold it against me that I actually almost knocked him down.
That's funny.
But SUNY IT has been a huge benefit to my family because, as it turns out, one of the students here attended the same dance studio that my 9-year-old does, and I happened to cross paths with her here, and one thing led to another, and she was able to. She's from the area I live in. Was able to watch my kids. And for a very competitive price, by the way.
Yes.
Which was awesome. The only downside to that is I saw a tweet from her about 2 or 3 days after she watched my kids for an evening over break. And the tweet was, can't wait to get back to SUNY IT. And I'm not sure how to take that, whether the babysitting stint with my kids was so bad that it drove her to SUNYIT, or she was just anxious to get back and spend time with her friends. So it's very interesting. It's had an impact on many
That's
different
funny.
fronts for me.
That's really cool.
That is really cool. Well, thank you, Dr. Geer, for
Not
being
at all.
here.
My pleasure.
And we'll be right back after these commercials.